Hey y'all, hey, it's me, Quinnie, and I'm back this month with a guest, as you guys can see. Today we'll be going through what we do rituals. So we're gonna go through a little bit of what we do. We'll be giving you guys a collective reading, also a guided meditation, a little short one. I know I normally do a longer one for you guys, but for this reason, it will be a shorter one. And I want to go ahead and introduce my guest. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Nia. I do tarot. I do a lot, but I'm mainly here to doing tarot for you guys today. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm not really good at introducing myself, so I just say what it is and get to the point.
Well, I mean, like, you could tell us what you call yourself. Like me, I'm Quinnie, but I go by QuinnieTooMuch. So
okay. Oh, so my channel is is MoonLit Pearl Guidance. So you can find me on YouTube at, again, MoonLit. Don't put Moonlit, not Moonlight. A lot of people can't find me because of that little error. So MoonLit Pearl Guidance, and you can just check out my channel there. And that pretty much explains everything of what I do and what I'm into. Okay?
Right. So look at her. If you didn't get what she said, just look at her name down the bottom, MoonLit. Okay. So today I just want to give you a chance to introduce yourself. I've gone through my story a few times, but just so you know, I'll let you know how I began my journey in Reiki and spirituality. So for me, it was back in 2018 when I first really got into it, but I always felt like it was like something different about me. I used to feel like stuff always tried to communicate with me. I just didn't know how to communicate back. At first, I was afraid because I felt like I was being attacked. So, for instance, like I couldn't never even drive by like a cemetery. I used to feel like everything used to attack me. Like anytime I drove by a cemetery or funeral home, I used to always get like chill. Stuff was in me or trying to get on me. So I used to like even driving. I used to try to avoid driving by them. I just was like, that is so weird. Like, what is that? And before, it used to be this shadow. He used to always follow me everywhere I went. Even when I moved, he used to come to my house, like, I used to be like, who is this man? And he used to always try to get close to me. And then I used to be like, go away. And he would like go back to the corner, but it was just still scary. But he never tried to hurt me. I think it was somebody that I knew. I think he was my grandfather, but he's not here. He doesn't come anymore. I think because I learned how to do like protective bubbles and spells on myself, so to speak. There were spells because spells make me feel nervous, but spells, right? So anyway, 2018, I was having a hard time. Like I quit my job because it was like too stressful. I wasn't being able to sleep and stuff. So that's what made me like figure out like how to get my life together. So I started meditating and stuff. And then I found this girl on on Twitter. Her name was Mystic Lipstick. And then I just started following her full moon rituals and new moon rituals. And I started like, oh, okay, that's what it is. Oh, okay, this feels good. And then it made me Reiki. So I'm certified in Reiki. I'm not a master in Reiki or make a Reiki master. I'm only a level 3. So I can practice on myself and others with their permission. So that's what I do. And then it made me just like get into crystals and my chakra and all that stuff. So then I started like trying to help heal other people. And I'm trying to get into tarot cards, but I don't know why. That's not just for me. I don't know why it's not. But I always get readings from other people. So what was your journey?
Okay. I want to say it started when I was a kid too. I've always had prophetic dreams. I think I was like 7, 8 years old when I first realized that I do have dreams. Like I astral travel in my dreams. I remember I was in my grandmother's living room, and I had a dream. I was walking down the hallway in my school. And in the dream, somebody balled up a piece of paper and threw it at me. And I saw the paper flying at me and it hit me here. In reality, my brother took a sock and threw it at me, and I saw it coming at me in my dream. So that's when I noticed something was like different. And after that, I started paying attention. But years passed, and I always felt like there was more. Like I was never satisfied in religion. I was brought up Muslim. I was Christian. It's like I seen every religion just about, and I never felt right. Like something wasn't right until one day I said, you know what? I prayed and I said, I don't know what you are. I know you're a higher power. I just don't know what to call you, and I don't know how to connect with you. But I want you, like, reach out to me. So I was in my son's barber, and this girl spoke to me. She called herself a bruja. Bruja is witch in Spanish.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
Santeria.
okay. I'm like, why do you call yourself that? And at first I was a little apprehensive, but she just told me to look into it. And I did. And I realized that's what I was. All of which is somebody who uses the elements to sway things in their way to get their favor, basically. So it's like it's really stuff we do all the time. Things we call things into existence. It's like what we do. And ever since I started practicing that, I've never felt freer. I feel happier. I feel like I have control in my life as opposed to waiting for somebody to give me the okay, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So and with tarot, all it is a way of divination. It's like we ask God all the time to show us, give us a sign, speak to us, give us the answer, and He does, or it does, depending on what you call them. It does, but tarot is just a way of doing it, like right then and there. So you may not do tarot, you might ask Him to show you in dreams. So it's like either way, it's just deciphering the messages you get from God. That's it.
I always say that I travel in my dreams. I always tell my son that. I'm so tired today. He's like, "Wow!" I said, "Because I was traveling to different dimensions last night." So that's how. Yeah, that's how it really be for me too. And I just want to say, sometimes people say like bruja or witch, it makes people nervous. They always think of witchcraft, and it's not the same. There's a light in the dark to everything. You choose which path you go.
Exactly.
Do the dark, but I stay in the light.
I do too. Exactly. Do that.
Right. So same way how like I'm not, like I said, I'm not really into religion. I always was afraid of church, and I don't know why. Like if I felt like when I walked into the church, there's all people mad, but I can't help it. When I walked to the church, all I could always feel was evil.
It's darkness.
It makes me feel very uncomfortable.
I don't want to say this and offend some people, but my brother, me and Hannah always talk. He said something that made so much sense to me. He said if the devil wanted to hide, what would be the place he would hide that nobody would find him? In church. And it made so much sense. It's like everybody I've known, every church at least I've exposed to was filled with hypocrites. They made me feel uncomfortable, scared, dirty. And I'm like, something's not right about it. It doesn't feel right. So
I've always been, I don't like how I feel in church. I feel very uncomfortable. And I think how me feeling uncomfortable make people look at me like, oh, something wrong with her.
No. Yeah, like, why isn't she in the church? Like, cause something ain't right here.
Yeah. Right. So like when I used to like leave out of like a church, I used to feel like I needed to like get in a bath.
Cleanse yourself, exactly.
Thinking about it gives me the chills in my body, like ugh. But I just wanted to. I like how I feel like whenever I talk to people, they always have kind of like the same type of story I had, or like the same kind of connection with the church. It's not that I don't believe in God. I believe
exactly.
Like you said, I just don't know what it is, who He is, and for me, I like to say there's a higher being, but I also believe that in the universe, I think it's separate.
Exactly. No, the higher being created the universe.
Yeah. So that's what I think that. Exactly. So I don't like when people say like, oh, whatever you call them, you want to pray to the universe. I was like, well, yeah, sometimes I do pray to the universe because it's different than God. The person is like, it's separate from me.
I feel like it's. So you know how they say in Christianity or in religion, God is in us.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like when we say God, I say spirit because I feel like that's the way to connect with it. I feel like God gives a male connotation to it. I don't think it's a he per se. So I say spirit. That and the universe, to me, I feel like they can be interchangeable to some people, but they are different. The universe is, I feel like this creating source created the universe. So it's almost the same thing, but I get what you're saying. I never really looked at it separately like that though, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Because I like to take a little bits and pieces of different religions and beliefs and make it my own. So for me, like I like God body, like that's how I think about it, like a center. So like I call my son's God, like, like I, people always laugh at me. I'm like, all right, peace, God. They're like, who do you 5%? Like, no, I just like the idea. Like I think, like I feel like we, like you said, God is in you. I feel like we are those people.
We are.
So that's the reason why I separated, because I feel like we are those people, and I guess that means I believe in reincarnation, but I think that like those people are a part of our past.
That's because energy isn't destroyed, so it has to go somewhere. And reincarnation maybe, but if it's not, they're definitely on our spiritual realm, like our spiritual team.
Yeah.
So you get what I mean? So
yeah. So we communicate with them somehow.
Exactly, because they're there talking to us.
Right. I agree.
So it's easy to communicate. A lot of people ask me, how do I communicate with them, or how do I get in touch with my ancestors? Just talk to them. They're there waiting for you to say something.
Right. The thing is that if you do want to talk to them, sometimes they like to be called by their name. So or you got to figure out what they like. Like, so I don't necessarily create an altar all the time, but sometimes I feel like I need to be more connected. They love to drink. Put out some rum.
Yeah, rum. They love to smoke. If you want rum, coffee,
all
like my uncle keep asking me for Newports, and I won't buy them. I'm gonna get them. I promise. I have to get them. But he wants his Newport so bad, and I don't get to pay cigarettes. I promise. But they do like that in food. Feed them.
Yes, give them what they want and call them by their name. You gotta be specific, because then you might end up
calling the wrong things. You're right about that too.
So yeah. So I guess with that being said, I guess we can go into our little guided meditation. I guess if you're listening to this, you don't have to lay down or anything. You can just close your eyes, and it's like a little brief sneak peek at what I offer people. Okay. So if you're listening or watching in your car, in your house, whatever, just find a comfortable position and just sit in that space. So I'm gonna give us a couple of seconds to get adjusted and get our mind right, because even for me too, right? So this is a sound bowl. This is gonna help us get into our space. Okay. So let's close our eyes. Imagine what your safe space is. It could be an open field. It could be a beach. It could be a forest. It could be your grandmother's house, wherever you feel like your safe space is. And once you get that picture, I need you to imagine your body being filled with light. Some of our light will be white, Some of our light will be red, some of it will be orange. Just make sure that it fills your whole body. You want it to be from your head to your fingertips, all the way to your toes. Sometimes your light is so bright that you see it come out your fingertips or your feet. That's okay. If you find that you have trouble filling a space and all you can see is darkness, sometimes it might be in our stomach, sometimes it might be in our head. I want you to take 3 deep breaths and blow that out to fill it with light. So what we're doing is we're blowing out breath to fill that dark space with light. If you have something that you want to release during this full moon or manifest during this full moon, take these next few seconds and chant it. So for instance, it could be, I release all things that are no longer meant for me. Just keep saying that for the next few seconds. And when you're ready to come back, open your eyes. Okay. We back.
Sorry,
Where did you go?
I got interrupted.
Oh, so you didn't go anywhere.
No, I was playing.
That's funny.
That was a good one. I like that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go.
Okay, so when you said like sometimes when I meditate, I do notice some areas are dark that I can't really feel. I never tried that before. Breathing in and clearing it, that helps. I'm gonna start doing that now when I do meditate. That definitely helps.
Okay, I'm glad you learned something. So yeah, so I guess now that we all meditated, we could get into our collective reading. If you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay.
So the way I do the readings, this one, I guess this one a little different. I've never done a collective one before. So I'm just gonna ask Spirit what message it wants to get through during this full moon, okay? Like what does it want everyone to know? A lot of people get frustrated when I shuffle. I have to shuffle 7 times. And I just did 4, so don't mind. It's just 3 more. All right, so the overall energy is the 7 of Cups. So that basically says to focus and pay attention to what dreams you have, what desires you want to come true this full moon. A lot of people, it involves our past, fixing things that we've dealt with in the past, or going back and exploring things that makes us feel nostalgic, stuff that made us happy when we were younger. And now it's saying try to balance that, try to find a way to bring that happiness we felt as kids into our future now. Because in order to do that, it helps us become more fully independent and successful. Okay? So this focus for this full moon is definitely creating things that we value, creating things that make us feel whole, and established in our lives. And they're saying the way to do that happily is to find something that we used to do when we were younger or in the past that we lost touch of. Okay? And in doing so, we'll be able to find a balance. And creating that balance, it'll bring us the peace that we desire for this full moon. Okay? So that's what I would focus on manifesting. Manifest something that we want to bring into our lives now that we enjoyed in the past. Okay? That's it.
Okay. I think in perfect alignment with the Virgo full moon. Virgo full moon is a shift in our energy, and we're cleansing any past energies that are in our body. So just so y'all know that Virgo is ruled by Mercury and by Chiron and the wounded healer. So pretty much it means exactly what you just said. So I'm gonna give people a couple of intentions or things that they should release for the full moon. So whatever by release, that means that you could take any sheet of paper. It could be a computer piece of paper. It could be a notebook piece of paper, and you can write down things that you release. So what you want to do is when you release, it has to be and I guess let's say firm. You can't say I wish. You can't say I want. Like it has to be. So for instance, you can say I release all trauma, programming beliefs, habits, anger, or pain creating or increasing any anxiety I experience. That's a heavy thing to release. So if it's your first time, I wouldn't suggest saying all of that. Maybe choose one or two. You can say, I release all cords or energy passed through the cords that are creating anxiety within me. So it's about releasing things that are from your past. So I'll give y'all one more. So you can say, I release all unhealthy beliefs, attitudes, and fears surrounding or meeting my own needs. So pretty much that's saying that you release anything that is stopping you from caring about yourself. So at the end of your, I guess, intentions, you need to make sure that you include this clause. It's long, but you have to make sure you do it, okay? So you have to say, I demand that all beings, programs, implants, thought forms, frequencies, soul contracts, energetic agreements, soul memory, psychological and emotional memory, trauma, cords, vibrations, and patterns that are enabling the energy I'm intending to release to leave my energy through all space, time, and dimensions on every layer of my existence. My aura, all of my subtle bodies of energy, maternal and paternal bloodline. That means releasing all that toxic shit your parents put into you. That's really cool. And then at the end, you have to say, so it is. Pretty much. I normally add to the end of that, I normally say, you have, because I want you to be going. That's it. And then you could put on period if you want to. And then you burn your list. As you burning your list, you try to actually visualize those negative energies leaving your body.
Releasing into the universe.
Yes. And then what I normally do after I do that, I normally come in the house and I wash my hands. Because I've been touching that paper with all those vibes on it. So I normally wash my hands. And that's what I do. That's only what I do with my full moon. One other thing I do for my full moon is I make moon water. So I pour water into a mason jar. I put my crystals in it if I feel like I want to. And, I cover mine with a top because I can't have my water outside. That is nasty with no top on it. Some people just leave it uncovered. I ain't with that. So I cover mine with a top. I try to position it in the moonlight. It's hard if it's cloudy, so I just like feel when my body says put it in, put it on the side. I just try to listen to that. And you let it sit out there till the morning. And when you wake up in the morning, oh wait, I missed the spot. Before you put the say what you want inside your water. So you could possibly say anything that you wrote on your list, you could say I release whatever, or you could do a manifestation. Something that you want. But do not say I want, don't say I wish, say I will. It has to be firm and definitive. Okay. So if say that you want to get a new job and that position happens to be a CEO, so you have to say, I am the CEO of whatever that company is. Then you close it up and you put it out. Next morning you open it up and you drink it.
Okay.
Oh, almost forgot. Speaking of water, we got a sponsor today. It's Flow, and this is alkaline spring water. I would just drink that regularly. I wouldn't necessarily use that in my moon water, but you could. This particular flavor is lemon and ginger. So I've tried it before. I like it, but I also don't eat any sugar, so everything is good to me. I also wanted to let people know that the difference between the new moon and the full moon is new moon is strictly for intentions. Full moon, you can set intentions and release. You burn for the full moon and you set it and forget it for intentions. So you would need to get like a journal, or it could be a notebook, but you would need a journal or something that you do not rip any pages out. And you write in it, put the clause, set it and forget it. So for the new moon, I'll be back with the video.
That's what I do for the full moon. Like I like to incorporate like any intentions I set for the new moon, I bring them back for the full moon because I notice a lot of the time, depending on how long or short term the intention are, is usually set by the full moon. Like it usually came true by then. So I'll go over the list and that's when I burn it during the full moon. So I'm slightly different.
Okay. I also wanted to say, oh yeah, that we had a raffle where the person would get a free reading from MoonLit Pearl. Yeah. And I'll also be sending my incense shop